Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ Dhammaṃ Sanghaṃ Namasami. It's nice to see you all. I'm very glad to come here and see all of you. And one thing I have to, okay? I think I should say something. I'm not a good English speaker, and if I make some mistake, please kindly understand me. And yeah, so I would like to share some of my practice. Begins with the Satipatthana, and finally I got some very essence of that Buddha's teaching from the Pali text. Before I became a nun in Korea for Mahayana Bhikkhuni, we learned many kind of sutra from the Chinese version, but it wasn't that giving me some very deeply insight. So when I have a chance to come to the UK, I met Burmese Ajahns there, and then they care about me for 6 months for stay there monastery. So they support me very well to study more deeply into meditation in Burma. So I took the 6 months in Paung Meditation Center for learning how they practice with the Theravada or meditation with breathing. So I was very impressed and then decided to become a Theravada Bhikkhuni. So there wasn't many ways to become a Theravada Bhikkhuni at the time, still now, but some of them are very supportive to the Bhikkhuni, became a Theravada Bhikkhuni. So I went to Australia to see Ajahn Brahm, and then he said to me, Ajahn, I would like to be a Theravada nun. He said, you can, and change your loves. I know, Ajahn, but how can? Just change your loves. What's the problem? And then I was looking for the way to become a Theravada nun, not only change the outfit, but I was considered about to be and find out some place. And Ajahn also recommended me to find out some place to be living the community together. And at that time, very luckily, I met Ayyā Sucittā in Bodhinyana Monastery in West Pole. And then she just saw me, and she was very delighted to see me and meet, because she was studied in Korea for 7 years, and that was the different Buddhist college especially for bhikkhunis. So she had a very very famous Zen master in Korea. She was the principal of that college, and then she was one of the disciples of her. And then she knew about Korea very well, and then also she knows a little bit of Korean language. So she was very happy to meet me, and then she invited me to come to America. And I decided to come. Yes, I will. I really appreciate that. And then 1 year later, I went to California, Dhammadharini in Sonoma County. So she preparing my formal precept for became a Theravada, converted to Theravada bhikkhuni. So I had a very honored of her blessing, and then I became a Theravada bhikkhuni, and now it's 8 years now. So totally together, I've been a monastic life for this year for 30 years, but I haven't given any formal Dharma talk to others. I was focused on my practice because I had a very bad situation. Just come back from America. That was my age, 25. And then I come to America for learning English because I was fall in love with English when I was 15. That a middle school student. I had graduated very special art school at the time. So our teachers from the abroad. So they say something in English. I was very loved that their the way of talking. So at the time I decided to learn English if I became a university student. So I tried and came to America when I was 25, and that was in New York. And then I started studying language. And then New York was very scared to me, so I decided to move to the Michigan state, and it was a very nice place to me. So I started 1 year and 6 months. My family doesn't support anymore because they don't allow me to go to abroad alone as a woman. So, but I tried, and then finally they said, I don't want to send any more money. So I had to come back to Korea, and after for a while I became a nun. And that time I met a very special doctor. He was a traditional Korean doctor. He had special skills for the cure people. And then I was a Christian, based on Christian, and I never think about the shape of my head. And then I don't even know what is the Buddhism is at the time. But he recommended to be a Buddhist nun. So I was very shocked. And then I realized he's a very wise and very special person to me. So I think it over and then decide, okay, I will try. And then that was made me go into the temple. Also, Korea had a big temple in the mountain. So we had a few bhikkhuni university there. So I decided one of the very historical Buddhist bhikkhuni college. So I was there for all include 7 years. And then after that, I come to my place, find out in the middle of the mountain, the last village of the mountain. And then I practice with the Satipatthana. I didn't know that time what is Satipatthana is, but I just follow what Buddha is saying. And then the teacher gave me some learning about the healing, because he was intended to practice me to do something helping others. So I was practiced both of them together for 13 years. But finally that gives me a very deep insight to see myself. And then it was very made me happy to be as a bhikkhuni. So I had a very difficult time during that 10 years, but I finally enjoyed of that moment, and then made me become very calm and made me like this. So I would share. When I was in the UK, I started reading the old Theravada text, Pali text, and then I find out very good sutra, which I really love until now. And then that's why I choose this chanting, I think, for me. So my practice finally got conclude this verse into chant. That is the Bade Karata Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 131. I would like to share with you in original text. So the name is, in English version, is A Single Excellent Night. Let not a person revive the past or on the future build his hopes. For the past has been left behind and the future has not been reached. Instead, with insight, let him see each presently arising state. Let him know that and be sure of it, invincibly, unshakably. Today, the effort must be made. Tomorrow, death may come. Who knows? No bargain with mortality can keep him and his holds away. But one who dwells thus ardently, relentlessly, by day, by night, it is he, the peaceful sage has said, who has had a single excellent night. I would like to share this verse because of human beings. They are all want to be happy, but we didn't know how to make this moment happy. So I really say, everywhere I go, I say, please enjoy this happiness of this present moment. Everybody can do, because even if we practice long time, if you not make this as a habitual things, it's very hard to keep or stable. So I recommend to the practice with the daily life. When you are doing something, it doesn't matter whatever you are doing, just focus on that moment and then feel the moment. Even if touch and see all the five senses, focus on that things you're doing. So you can feel very, very rare things comes from that, and then you're gonna feel very happy. And then that gives me the naturally going to the dependent origination of things going on. So you can feel, and then you can create whatever you are doing with the happiness. Really, you can accept all the situation you are living. You can figure it out with the wisdom eyes. So that's the point of I would like to say today. And then, if anything you have question, I happily share my story.
Dhammayang dhammakata sadhu karang dadama se. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Anumodami. Great, thank you very much, Venerable. So now, as Venerable said, we'll have a chance for people to ask questions or bring things up, both in person or anyone on Zoom. You can just raise your hand, and I think Chia has a mic and can bring the mic to you. That way people on Zoom can hear the questions. Maybe Kirk or Cheryl let us know if anybody has questions on Zoom. See Anita.
You mentioned had during your study in Satipatthana, you had 10 years of difficulty. I wonder kind of like what kind of difficulties were you experiencing? Would you mind sharing? Thank you.
I had 13 years for practice with the healing, and then Satipatthana was, I had to wake up early, 4 o'clock, and then I went to the mountain for like chanting alone. Instead of sitting and chanting, I just meet the nature and then bring the spring water at that time. And then it was very dark. The edges small, like I'm very small, as you see. I was very afraid to walk in the dark, and also to climb to the mountain. There's nobody. I don't afraid of the animals, because I already know that at the time the animals come to greet me, and then coming out in front of me, and then they say hello to me. So I was very happy to meet them, all the animals, but the human being made only very afraid. So I was very sad. I said to my doctor, and I'm so afraid to go in the dark. And he said, if you do not make this, you never go into the nature. So, okay, I decide to go. And then whatever happens, whatever weather is bad, I did for 7 years. And then every morning I wake up 3:30 and preparing my done, and then I just walk to the mountain and then bring the spring water. And then sometimes it gives me so scary. And then one day I have experience with a very special animal. And then at the time was very winter, very cold in Korea. So the sound is like somebody who get into the water, the big sound. So I thought, it's the winter time, very cold, there are all ice on it. Who gonna go into the water? And then I was afraid to go back home. No, I shouldn't. And then walk through. And then almost there in the spring water, another sound, the same sound coming. So I wondered, what is this? Maybe I hope it's not a human being. So I walked down through this spring water. There is a yeah. There is a small, like the size of the medium-sized dog, but there was the otter. You know otter? Yeah. So it's very rare because of the very cold winter. So all our animals are not appears. But otter is living in water, but they come up to me. I was standing on the rock, and he was come close to me, and watching my eyes. So I was watching together, and then say to him from my heart, not out. So I said, why are you here in this very cold winter? And then I really want to see your face well. Because it's in the dark, there is only very one of the light, very what is that? Very dim. What is dim? Dim, very dim. So I couldn't see very well. So I thought, I want to see your face. Who are you? And then he suddenly moving like this. So I was very happy to see them. And then maybe he thought it's enough to show him. So he just slowly turned around and crossed the water. And then that was the very happiest moment to go to the mountain. So after that, every time, almost every time, any kind of animal come up to me and say hello. Sometimes squirrels waiting me, already there, sitting on the rock, and then just look at me, that's all. And then one of the deer, he came up and then walked slowly in front of me, and then I was just very carefully follow him. And then maybe few meters walk, and then she turn around and look at me, feel like, are you walking well? Are you following me well? And then I walked through few times, and then he looked at me last time and turn around and go into the forest. Like that kind of experience gave me, there is something in nature. Also, my teacher said, nature is perfect, but human being made all, failed all the nature. So at the time I decided to find out something from the nature and would like to feel all the giving from the universe. So I can see very clearly with cultivate my wisdom. And then after that, I wasn't very hard to wake up early morning and going to the mountain. And all day I work and then meditate and work and preparing the meals and garden work, and we have some vegetable garden. Also, I have to look at all of the big garden and then field. So I did many things. You look at me very small and then doesn't have any power, but I did many work, like cutting the grass, and then gardening job, and then cleaning all the house, and then look after my teacher, and then I did many things. And then that was first time giving me very hard, because all day I have to do something until going to bed. But later then, it was just like very naturally, very easy to do. And then after 10 years, it wasn't that very hard and didn't have give any painful things. So that is, I think, training gave me some very nice way to habitual things for a life. Yeah, that was my practice for 13 years.
Ayyā, thank you so much for being here. Make a journey. I think you already maybe spoke a little bit about this, but can you talk about doubt as a hindrance and how maybe that came up and how you dealt with that in your practice?
Yeah, I also have a lot of doubt about even if the Buddha's world, because during my practice there is a lot of questions aroused, and then when embodiment was not very well, and then I just do with this Buddha's teaching. I was very confused for something, thinking come from the past, it gives me suffering. And then if I need something, have desires for the future, it also gave me some suffer. So I decided not to think anymore, but it wasn't very easy to do. So I started organizing my thought. So when during my sitting meditation, when thinking coming, I started to observe all the thinking, and then think about why this same thinking over and over So when I started that, I realized it's very easy to let it go because of it's already gone. I can't change anymore. So it just spend the time. So I wanted to grow, not fail my way. So I decided not to think anymore, and then I just focused on this moment. But it wasn't easy the first time. Then later, the same thinking coming again. So I found out the way to reduce, because of the same thinking coming, I just see and say to me, "Oh, you were there, so I already sorted it out. So you didn't come again," and then forget it. And then later, if some thinking coming, maybe 5 times sitting time, but later it's only one time coming. Later it doesn't come up. Even if I want to think about that, it doesn't come. So I find out the way to reduce all the thinking. And then now I don't have any think of the future or past. I'm very simple. I just watching this moment. It's very happy. I met all the Ajahns here, and I can see all of you come here to enjoy Dharma together. And then everything's very happy. So if it's possible to stay this moment, there's no problem for the future, because if you stay this moment well, every time you gain the good things, so future will be very nice. There is no worry about the future, because you live this moment very well with all effort for this moment. Whatever you are doing, it doesn't matter. If you are in the work, it's also give it to the very sharp to see all things, so you can figure it out all your work very wisely. So it's very helpful to whatever you're doing. So practice gives you the clarify to your life. So that's what I did.
Hello, Ayyā. The other day you mentioned that we can find the Eightfold Path if we focus even on some very small part of the path, we can see the whole path. So my question actually is, if we're someone who a big part of their path is devotion to a bodhisattva, for example, to Kuan Yin, or to, in my case, to Tara, how can we find the Eightfold Path in a bodhisattva devotion? It's not very Theravāda, but I'm wondering, how can we link the Eightfold Path to devotion to a bodhisattva? Thank you.
In the Mahayana tradition, they practice bodhisattva in ways, because of the people, usually they don't bring the good thinking from their own. So they learn from what is the bodhisattva did, and they will learn from them. If I became like bodhisattva, will begin another state of the meditation stage. So Mahayana tradition, they do that. But to me, I was a Mahayana bhikkhuni, but I don't usually do that kind of practice, because of I want cultivate myself from the connected with the nature. So it's very naturally come up, not make my focus to that doing something initially. That's different way to practice. So in Mahayana tradition, if you became a bodhisattva, you're doing so many things like bodhisattva, and then you can be a next life be a different way. But yeah, that's also good. But that's usually people who, not as a bhikkhuni, usually as a lay person, they first time they do the practice, very helpful for their meditation. But as a bhikkhuni, I do not recommend to do that. So if you do practice this moment, that brings you to go to the right way, and then if you go if you get the right scene, all the sense come together. So you don't have to, okay, I can see clearly, so now next one, I can smell clearly. You don't have to do that. Just if you focus on one thing very, very nicely or very wisely do, you never miss it. That's my experience from my practice. So later then I read all the text, and then I realized I did only this, but I can feel all of that eightfold path. So I'm sure if you do that, you can connect it with all eightfold paths, not only one.
If you're on Zoom, you can also raise your electronic hand or type something into chat. Go for it, Joseph. We can't hear you quite yet. Just a second.
Oh, thank you. I got it. Thank you.
Go for it, Joseph. We got you.
Thank you, Venerables. I'm really wanting to bring awareness to these three qualities from Anguttara Nikaya 5162, removing resentment. There are these three qualities, karuna, anudaya, and anukampa. And I was speaking to the last guest monk you spoke to, and he mentioned that anudaya would be, a good translation would be the Christian concept of charity, and anukampa is more related to empathy. And then he didn't ask a follow-up question, but he said karuna was mostly related to some word related to action. So I'm looking for more clarity on the quality of anudaya, specifically wanting to bring awareness to this quality of compassion or charity. And I'm curious and would like to ask the Sangha for clarification why karuna specifically is one of the immeasurable, like the radiation practices, but we're not told to, like, say, radiate anudaya or anukampa. I feel like it's really important to understand the specifics of these three qualities out of compassion for oneself, others, and both in the whole world. So any help in clarifying that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, so just a somewhat technical question about various Pali vocabulary, and I think it's important if you have any interest in learning some of these Pali words. I mean, Pali is to Theravada Buddhism what Latin is to Catholicism. So it is this ancient language, no longer spoken anywhere. No one grows up speaking Pali. And you can look in dictionaries and find different meanings for these different words, and it's interesting. And you might start feeling like, yeah, these certain words, I mean, Joseph, you've mentioned these three words a lot, so it's obviously very deep in us, and figuring out the different nuances. And you can draw out something from the etymology of Pali words, like I believe anudaya comes from the root da, which means to give. So this anudaya is an aspect of compassionate care for others, which has an aspect of giving involved in it. Anukampa, kamp means to shake or to tremble. And anu is along with. So anukampa is a type of compassion or other caring, which literally trembles along with others. And then compassion or karuna is, as you said, just literally means action. And it is interesting that Longtam Mahabua, a Thai monk who many of us do believe was an arahant, someone who's fully enlightened. This is something that we believe in Theravada Buddhism, that enlightenment is possible, and it wasn't just something that existed at the time of the Buddha, but there are humans, male and female, monastic and lay, who have attained various levels of enlightenment. And Ajahn Mahabua was a Thai monk who passed away, I believe, in 2009, something like that. But he said that it's just the natural state of someone who's enlightened to experience this karuna. That's just the natural state of mind of an arahant, is compassion. You just live and bathe and swim in compassion. That's the water for an arahant. But again, English words hit people differently. Language is such a personal thing, and you can look in the dictionaries as much as you want, and it's great to compare language, but just figuring out for yourself which words and which flavors really hit home, because that's what the Buddha was doing. And everything he said, he practiced something which in English we call synonymia. Synonymia, that is stringing together a long list of near synonyms, near words which mean nearly the same thing. So as you mentioned, this sutta that which you said, and he does it in a couple of other suttas, he says that one practices karuna, one practices anukampa, one practices anudaya, one has compassion, has this charity, thinks about others in a way which is soft and really just gives to the other person. So yeah, letting these words, if you memorize them, and that's why we do the chanting that we'll do, and we'll actually, in a bit, after maybe one more question, we'll chant this verses of Shining Night of Prosperity together again. And that's when you chant something, when you memorize chanting, that's what you're doing. You're bringing these ancient words into your heart and figuring out a way to translate them into your actions of body, speech, and mind. So I hope that helps, Joseph. Okay. Oh, please.
Just one other thing is the Buddha says there's three kinds of mind. The mind like a pus-filled sore, where if it's pushed, it spurts a bunch of pus. And that's the person who, when he's spoken to angrily, retorts with angry words. There's a mind like a lightning flash, which is the mind of a stream enterer, and they've seen truth for a brief moment. And then the deathless. And then there's the mind of an arahant, which is the mind of like a diamond, and flawless. But another quality of a diamond is light that goes through it radiates into all these different colors. It refracts. And in the Abhidhamma, there's 4 universal unwholesome qualities to every unwholesome mind state: ignorance, restlessness, and basically shamelessness of 2 kinds. But every wholesome mind state has 18 different qualities, the like blossoming and variegation of the wholesome mind. And I think that just speaks to how much more vast the bright mind is, and why the Buddha wanted to use all these slight different colors of a wholesome state. And you see this with people who are really well practiced. There's this agility to how they interact with every moment. Like I was saying, just when you're attentive to every moment, there's a way there that's this quiet happiness, and it's that quiet light, but it refracts in all these different colors. And just to say, you see that different refraction, seeing how the Dharma moves through different people. And it's one of the most precious parts of visiting monastics, is just you hear their voice and you realize there's a whole nother color of light you've never thought of in the Dharma, and suddenly you realize how much you've missed seeing it. So that was a precious talk, Ayyā. And I like the otter looking like a movie star. that was good.
I have a little bit add for your answer, Alex. And there is something you practice on the Eightfold Path. First thing is you have to see right scene. That follows your feeling comes from, and then like in dependent of origination. You can grow from your practice to can see intuitive awareness. I can say the intuitive awareness is you can feel it all the good things to go to right way. So you will know what is the next one, and then you see what is you have to do for your like occupation or the way of living or the follow with the Eightfold Paths. So if you practice very well, you will get the intuitive awareness. That is very important for practitioner. So I'm sure if you practice whatever way or the Bodhisattva way or whatever you started with, it doesn't matter. If you grow, cultivate your way to seeing, that will be work very well.
I think we can get one more question, if there is one. Yep.
Thank you, Venerable. During our meditation, you spoke about being in the present moment and how you can be happy in the present moment. I guess my question is, if something difficult is happening in your present moment, I'm not necessarily focusing on the past or ruminating about my future, but currently dealing with something that I have to make difficult decisions on today. How do I be in the present moment and be happy? You know, for example, if I'm losing somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. Losing someone around me is very sad, and sometimes they give suffering. But in Buddhist way, we deal with the death like the natural course of our life. So when someone who live early, someone living long, whatever they given their life is their own present from the universe. So first time you feel very sad, but just say to you like this. I'm always say to me something wise way to deal with my mind, and then say like a Buddhist said, everybody will go die, but he's or she's passed a little bit early, and then why don't I blessing for them for the future, and then for their next life, or they can share with you the good memories you can bring from them. Usually try to bring good memories, not the bad memories. So also I was deal with the bad memories. I always say to me, it doesn't help anymore. Also, it's all past. So if I deal with moment spent with this thinking, I will be failed my future as well. So just accept whatever come to you. Just first thing is just accept and watching that what happens to me, and then you observe all the thinking, and then we need to sort out all the thinking, the useless thinking from the past. or if you have a lot of desire, the thinking from the future, it will be also make you very suffer. So make you calm and try to see what I'm doing now. And one of the Zen master, he is now all around America, every state. Maybe that was my recognition of. Have you heard about the Koan Zen school? Who practice with that? Our Sungsan Zen master is one of the very great Zen master. He said, we don't know anything, so we just do it without any thinking. Just keep this moment, only don't know mind. So we never know the future. We don't even know tomorrow I'm dying. So you just focus on this moment. If I'm, for example, I told someone last time, and if I was, most of people, when they cooking and when they washing the dishes, they really don't want to do that. I don't know why. Because when I'm doing washing the dishes, I just go there and then feel the water. And then made me feel very happy. Even the water, the moment of the feeling was giving me so happiness. So still now I don't understand somebody who very don't like doing something, houseworking. Yeah, if you try to do that, it will gives you a lot of happiness. So I really can say, just keep this moment with your heart and doing whatever you're doing, focus on that, you do the best with this. And next things coming very naturally and give you the very best time to future. So that's all I wanted to say, that question.